Hi, I'm Rappler Entertainment Editor Margaret De Leon, and welcome to the latest episode of Rappler Talk Entertainment. Today we have very special guests with us, the reigning queens of the Binibining Pilipinas 2023 pageant. So we have Palawan's Angelica Lopez, who
Hello.
is Binibining Pilipinas
Good
International
afternoon.
2023. Bataan's Ana Valencia Lakrini, who is Binibining Pilipinas Globe
Hi
2023.
everyone.
Davao del Sur's Katrina Ann Johnson, who is
Hello,
first
hello.
runner-up, and Atasha Parani of General Trias Cavite, who is second runner-up. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thanks for having
Thank
us.
you for
Thank
coming
you.
here. It's so
Yeah,
nice to
our
see you.
pleasure.
We're such fans. Okay, so before anything, sige, I have a question for all four of you. So one by one, let's start na lang
Okay.
with Angelica. When you finally had some time and space, yung coronation night, like when you were alone na, like what was the first thing you did?
The first thing I did, I prayed because winning the Binibining International 2023 title, it's really an answered prayer po talaga. I worked hard for this and at the same time, I trust the process. It's really God that helped me to be in this position. So that's the first thing that I did when I finally had to, had time to rest. So I'm very grateful kasi si Papa God, hindi niya talaga kami pinabayaan.
Yeah.
It's really Him.
Awesome. How about you, Anna?
Well, I actually went straight home after coronation night because my dad was about to leave the next day.
Oh, I see.
So I tried to spend some time with
Oh,
him
that's nice.
because, he's so happy to see me with a crown now. And I'm so happy that he witnessed this moment and extended his flight. So
Oh, that's great. And how about you, Katrina?
For me, I kind of did a mix of both of what they did. So I was praying all throughout the night. The first thing I did when I actually got home was I prayed to my mom. I kind of told her, like, we did it. It was an emotional kind of one-on-one thing that I kind of needed to get out of my system. And then, of course, before I went home, I saw my dad. I had only seen him like a couple of times before coronation. He flew all the way out. It was the first time I saw him in 3.5 years.
Wow.
So yeah, it was an emotional reconnection. I think I have a video where like both of us were hugging and our faces were red. So it was honestly just a night of emotions from my dad to my mom to kind of internalizing everything. Yeah.
Finally, Rain?
Same. My dad also came to watch the coronation from Canada, but then, well, the first thing I did alone was go to the Papa Jesus out of Araneta. So I remember me and Ate Katrina and some other girls before the coronation, we prayed together, and then I came back alone that time. Na thank you, oh my gosh, I really told him during the prayers na kayo na po bahala. And each time there was a cut or pakonti ng girls, I was just happy, to be honest. And then first thing that I did with my family was put the crown on each and every one of their heads.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And said smile and then to everyone.
Oh, that's the best. Okay, so let's go to the actual coronation night. Alam mo, pageant fans, napansin talaga nila na ang ganda ng production value.
Yeah.
Ng,
Yes.
like, we were watching it from the TV. We weren't, unfortunately, not there in Araneta, but parang TV pa lang, ang ganda-ganda na ng
Opo.
set, ng mga damit nyo, ng design and everything. So, ano yung favorite parang takeaway nyo dun sa production ng coronation night? Sige, let's start again with Angelica.
Well, of course, we're very thankful to the Binibining Pilipinas organization for pulling out such a beautiful, wonderful production number for all of us girls. And of course, to the designers of Binibining Pilipinas for, providing dresses, like magnificent dresses that we can really slay on stage. And I'm just so happy. Sobrang happy ako because finally, I think the production number or the stage really inspired a lot of people, and everyone's telling on social media that wow, Binibini is still Binibini.
Right.
Binibini is really amazing, and they're really different from like producing such production numbers or like the stage designs. And I'm just so happy that a lot of people get to appreciate the effort that the Binibining Pilipinas organization did for all of us Binibini girls. I'm just so happy po talaga.
I can only add to that. Yeah, it's really the people that are behind it. Because without them, we wouldn't have such a nice production number. We wouldn't have such a nice experience. And I really love the stage. But I gotta be honest, I was a bit scared because we had a lot of stairs. But then we had a lot of rehearsals too. So
we did.
it was actually during the last rehearsal when I saw all
Yes.
the girls in the gowns, and I was like, "Okay, Anna, you kaya mo yan. You can go the stairs down."
It's
So
really the collective effort
yeah,
of all the people behind the Binibining Pilipinas organization. And I actually love po yung stage design because it's very futuristic.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
LED thing.
It's like when you enter like at the back of the stage, it's like you will be in another dimension.
Oo, tas
It's like
Yeah.
your photos,
The
the
lasers
faces,
were my
ang
favorite
ganda-ganda,
part.
sobra.
and the lights also
The
during the
lasers were my
swimsuit.
favorite
Wow.
for sure. I remember Sir Hinez kind of teased the fact that our production number would be something world class, something that we haven't seen before. But I never imagined that it would be like that. So when we were able to rehearse at Araneta Coliseum, I remember there was a time where I was sitting in the audience and they were kind of practicing the lasers. And I almost felt like a little kid. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't wait for everyone to see this tomorrow. Honestly, to be a part of that was incredible. To something that world class, something of that level. I mean, obviously, it's very humbling to be a part of it. Obviously, we have, the BPCI organization, the production team to thank. It's something that I really could have never dreamed of. And I think that's something that has rang true throughout the entire journey. So to start off our last day of the competition with that sort of entrance, I think is really fitting for sure. Yeah.
Anything to add?
For me, I want to add to the production team because they really were there ever since rehearsals and everything. I remember we had this time where it sobrang lutang ng lahat and like we didn't know where to go and like our blockings are really uneven and then I remember that they're like, ladies, are you okay? You're so tense. And then I just remember the production team, sila Mama Bang and Direk Mamu, they're all like, trying to make us laugh. And I'm just really glad that we really pulled off. Besides the stage looks really aesthetically pleasing into the eyes, as well. We did a good performance, and I feel like it wasn't ever possible without the help. And I'm really happy to be part of this year's because it really looks crazy from afar.
I mean, even Jasmine Selberg was dancing.
Yeah.
Along with you guys.
I was right behind her. It was amazing.
And I talked to her before, and I was also like, I'm not a dancer, but they made me dance, and
True.
so they can make everyone dance. I'm really happy for them.
If we could do it, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the hosts, like I really have to commend the hosts.
Of course.
Of course, Katrina and the rest. Kasi ang energy nila was so
Of
course.
infectious talaga.
Like anyone
The
else.
team's really amazing.
So, I have a specific question for Angelica.
Yes.
So, in previous interviews, na-mention mo na you worked a lot of blue-collar jobs before.
Yes.
So, like a cashier, an office clerk, dishwasher, waitress.
Yes.
So, because of all those experiences, what's the most important parang lesson that you've learned from working those blue-collar jobs?
I learned that in this life, well, this is actually my favorite, like, let's say, quotation, that it is ourselves that are only allies. So even though, in this life, we of course we need people who will help us. But at the end of the day, it is really ourselves that will help us to move forward, to move ahead. And I've learned to be independent by working several jobs way back home in Palawan. It's actually more of an initiative po. Kasi before, well, I came from a very humbling beginning. So it's really an initiative to help my mother, my father with the household expenditures. And I told myself that, I really need to like find a way to, of course, not only to teach myself, but as well as to help my family. And it really made me to become an independent woman that I am now. Well, I am proud to say that I am a breadwinner of the family, and I also help my siblings when it comes to their studies. And I'm very proud because I have, instilled that kind of values of working such, as such a dishwasher, as a cashier, and other several part-time jobs before. And that's one thing that I also want to pass to the next generation as well, to the other kids out there, because it's really important that you are independent,
Right.
that you make, your own money. Because, yun nga, sabi ko na at the end of the day, it's only you that will help you move forward in life. So you really need to become resourceful in everything that you do. It will help you a lot, girls.
Yeah.
So I hope that a lot of kids out there also, a lot of youth out there can apply this kind of independency in their lives as well.
Awesome. Now let's move on to you, Anna. Speaking of your background, so you're a nutritional scientist, is that correct?
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. So how did you get into this line of work or this study to begin with?
Well, actually, when I was during school, I was actually considering if I wanted to continue school or what to do next. And it just so happened that my mom got ill and diagnosed with breast cancer. So that was really the point where I was like, okay, I want to do something for her. So I continued school and dedicated my studies in nutritional science to her. I also wrote my thesis to her. It is about breast cancer and how to prevent it. And yeah, so that was really my core that kept me going, even though it was really hard for me to study because I am not into chemistry. But I kept going because I knew that it was for a greater cause. And now using it not only for my mom, but also for my advocacy is really doing so much more for the community, which I really always wanted to do. I just did a feeding program last month in Tondo, and I'm really happy that I can inspire and change so many lives. And now with Binibining Pilipinas, I hope to do so much more feeding programs and teach more children about a healthy diet.
Exciting. Ayun. So, si Katrina naman, you're actually my bias because you had one of my favorite answers sa Q&A.
Oh, thank you
And I think a lot of people particularly liked your answers sa Q&A.
Thank you.
When you talked about how important your authenticity was to yourself and not having to fit social norms. So, could you tell us more about yung life experiences where you felt like you didn't fit in? Exactly.
Yeah, so that really goes back to pretty much the entirety of my childhood. I would say that I am blessed in a way. I grew up in the US, and I know that not everyone has that opportunity. But we were not the wealthiest family. We grew up in kind of a whitewashed, affluent town. And in terms of socioeconomic status, we were at the lowest part of, I guess, in terms of everyone in that town, we were pretty low on the rankings there. And not only with that, but kind of my parents in and of themselves were different. So most people didn't really see like non-white mothers. My mom was an immigrant from the Philippines, so that in and of itself was different. And then my dad is deaf. So I had two parents that were kind of everything that you couldn't imagine,
Right.
and kind of being able to compare myself to my classmates who were very, very privileged. Had a lot of internal struggles in terms of there was a point where I kind of thought, well, why was I placed into a family like this? Why wasn't I given the chance to be a part of a family that doesn't have money problems, that doesn't have to kind of deal with the issues of having two separate cultures, two separate languages, kind of having to be the translator for your parents, having to mature at a very young age. There was a lot of times where I questioned myself, I questioned God. And I remember it was really because my friends, the outside noise, they were kind of like, why is your dad stupid? Why is your dad different? Why is your mom so strict? Why doesn't she understand? So having those types of influences kind of pollute your mindset as a young child. That definitely kind of sparked a lot of, I guess you could say, reflections.
Of course. Yeah.
And it was only really when I got a little bit older, when I was in high school, and even in college, truthfully, when I had actually moved here to the Philippines, that everything kind of started to make sense. I understood the reasons why my mom was so strict, why discipline was so important to her, religion, why those values, the Filipino values that we love so much, why that was so important to her to instill into me as a child. My parents, both of them, being able to look back and see how they kind of navigated through prejudice, judgment, right? And being at the forefront of that, kind of being able to witness that firsthand. I think that really allowed me to develop the mindset that I have now, that there really is a reason why you're able to face so many challenges and obstacles. And it truly is beautiful when you're able to accept yourself, flaws and all, and be able to show that to the world, not put on a facade or a filter. And that's truly something that is so powerful, to be that vulnerable. And that's really just thanks to my parents. So that's why my answer was about being authentic, about being sincere. There really is nothing wrong in being who you are, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you're doing what you think is best. I think that's something that's truly beautiful, and I have my parents to thank for that.
Awesome. And I guess a lot of people could relate because you went viral on Twitter because of what you
Oh my
said.
goodness. Thank
So
you.
speaking of virality, Rain.
Hi.
So you're a host and actress under ABS-CBN. So medyo sanay ka na sa spotlight, so to speak. No, nowadays, thanks to TikTok and YouTube, like everyone's trying to also be in the spotlight. So how do you feel about this culture na parang everyone's trying to be an influencer?
Actually, speaking of spotlight, I didn't really feel that way during the 5 years I've been in ABS. So I have been in different career paths already, not just hosting and acting, but as well dancing and singing and performing. So I was already supposed to be part of a P-pop group before, which is called Beanie Now.
Oh my God!
Yes, and I was part of the preparation ever since the auditions, and then things went a different way. So I was redirected, and I never understood why. But I think I could be a testament to that, since it did lead me to pageantry.
Right.
So I'm really happy, because pageantry is really like more in depth with your purpose and like an advocacy for all of us. And for me, showbiz has been something similar but different at the same time. It wasn't really easy for me during the pageantry, because to be honest, before I started my career and launched with PBB, then I went with performing, then I went to pageantry. So parang lumambot yung katawan ko ng konti. And I used to love sports as well. So it's a lot of transforming for me. Definitely, I was the youngest in this batch. I'm just 19 right now, and it's still a lot for me to process. It hasn't really sinked in, but lately it has been such a blessing for me, because I think you define your own spotlight.
Right.
And I don't think that being influencer is a bad thing for everyone to go for, because influencing others, also influencing yourself, how to put your best out there. Also making sure that you're authentic and intentional with whatever you're gonna put out there, because you should always be cautious about that. And for me, it's what I've been doing the whole time, and it did help me in terms of being open and being a good communicator. But there's also downfalls of that as well. But I think I learned through the years of how to balance that, and as well trying to go for different things after another. So I feel like I'm really happy in my position right now, and I love what I do.
Maybe in the future you can have like a recording contract. Like you can have
Yeah, hopefully.
Okay, so let's go back to Angelica. There's actually a lot of buzz about your win.
Yeah, I know.
Because, diba? I'm sure you've heard of it. Because a lot of people are proud to have like a palaban na morena
Yes.
in the spot.
Thank you.
Kasi, diba sa Miss International, it's usually known for crowning like mestizas or
Yes.
quinitas. May pabebe things sila, diba? So, how do you feel about parang all this clamor for you as the morena bet?
Yes.
Parang do you feel any pressure? Like, what runs through your mind when people bring that up?
Well, I feel happy because I believe that I represent all the Morena women out there. Well, not only women, but also men. All those people who have dark or brown skin, brown complexion. And I'm just so happy that a lot of people are using the hashtag like stereotype breaker. It's like
Right.
that. And I feel glad because they really appreciate that not only that I've won as Binibining Pilipinas International, but as well as, of course, yun nga po yung idea na nire-represent ko yung mga tao na yon. Because I know that although we are now living in an inclusive society, there's still a lot of discrimination ongoing when it comes to those people who have dark complexion. And I feel like, I am like making a difference in the lives of each and one of us. And I just really hope that my win can also inspire those people who hates women or who hates other people who has like a dark complexion. Because I feel like they deserve to be loved and accepted the way they are. And I'm just so happy because this win of mine, I want to use this, of course, the Binibining Pilipinas the Binibining Pilipinas organization as a powerful platform to really make a change in our society, that we should not, or we should stop doing those kind of things to these people because we are just beautiful in our own way. And I'm just so excited to show it to the whole world, well, internationally. I'm just so excited for what's coming ahead in this journey of mine.
And Team Morena.
Yes, the Morena. Morena represent.
So, speaking of pressure, Anna, how about you? Like, the Philippines is known for bagging Miss Globes recently. Diba? Si Maureen
Yes.
Montaigne and si Ann Collis before that. Do you already have a game plan for the pageant since it's happening this year? Like, or has Maureen or Anne reached out to you already?
Yes, Maureen
have.
actually is a good friend of mine. She
Okay,
also
perfect.
reached out to me, and I told her, yes, we're gonna definitely hang out after our media week. So it will be interesting to talk to her because it is actually so funny. Because I talked to her about Miss Globe, I think before. Like she talked to me about it, and she's like, yes, she's giving every girl advice. And I was like, oh, that's so cute. And back then, I had no clue that I'm gonna be the next Miss Globe.
Right.
And so now that she's basically doing it, and just we're gonna meet up, and I think this weekend. So it's gonna be really excited to see her point of view and how her experience was. And if I had a game plan, I wouldn't tell because
Oh, yeah. Tama naman. That's true. That's
but
true.
my team
Smart.
is already informing themselves about Miss Globe. I'm watching a lot of Miss Globes yet, like the coronation night and everything. So I think I have to still let it sink in that I won because it's been 2 years. It's my second time competing, and I should really like rest for 1 second before I start like with the preparations, with the Q&A, with the passerella.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm already good with everything. My stylist, my designer, Nat Manila, he already reached out to me. So I think we're already in the preparations, but we're still taking our time to really rest and let it sink in that I really want.
Exciting. So, ayun, in contrast, you, Angelica, are competing next year pa.
Yes, I
So,
still have,
yeah.
I think, 1.5 years to
Ang tag-
prepare.
A year and a
Kasi
half.
po, I heard Miss International is on October.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
So,
still
matagal-
have a long way to.
So, parang how do you feel about that? Like the fact that it's such a long way off.
Of course, I would say that, hindi pa rin naman ako perfect. Well, I still have a lot of improved, and I feel like having that kind of, time for myself to prepare is an advantage. I see it as an advantage because there's still a lot of to improve as you're binibining Pilipinas International. And I'd say that in this journey naman, nothing's really easy. So it will be really hard. I know the journey will be really hard, but I'm really willing to put my heart and my mind into it, and of course to really work hard for this journey of mine. When I won po as Binibining Pilipinas International, inisip ko talaga na hindi pa tapos yung laban ko. So I would not stay like, complacent. And hindi talaga ako magpapakampante. Lalaban talaga tayo. I'll bring the Philippines to the whole world, and I'll show how beautiful we are as Filipinos, as Filipinas.
Awesome. Yay.
I think also Katrina put it in the right words when it's like we're not only wearing the Philippines sash. There's so
Yes.
many people behind it, and I think if we keep that in our minds, then we're strong, and we already know that with the Philippine training, it's one of the best in the whole world, on the whole globe. So I think we're already well prepared.
Okay. So we're unfortunately down to our last two questions, and the questions are for all of you four.
Okay.
So the second to last is for everyone. What's a big misconception about the pageant world or competing in pageants that parang you'd like to debunk, that you'd like to tell people isn't true or is true? So let's start with Rain.
Okay, I think it's just the misconception of it being shallow. I really don't think that it's just a beauty pageant of beauty, the facade, or how you really project yourself on camera, and the beauty life and all the the products we use. It's not really about that, but like even with the products we use, there's many stories behind that as well for the people that are watching. And I feel like every story, literally every story of the 40 candidates during this year's batch, I've listened to so many of them, and it's moving me up until today. And I really I could really say that when it comes to pageantry, it's a sisterhood and how it can really stay with you for your whole life, and your advocacy most especially, because you're going to be given a platform to represent the Philippines and the country, but as well as you can have that power and choice of choosing what sector do you want to focus on, or what kind of movement do you want to give back to the society or the community that is really out there. And you're going to be given a voice, and I think you should also maximize that time, like right now. And I feel like with pageantry, you're also an open book to the media, and it's something really hard for us as well, not just physically or mentally, but really everything we're shaping, just so that we know that we're in shape for the pageant, because we are not only, going to walk out there, but we're going to walk out again after the pageant with that lesson and learnings of how we are a beauty queen even without the pageant. And I feel like it's really about the mission that we have.
How about you, Katrina?
For me, I would want to debunk the misconception that being runners up means that we aren't good enough, or that somehow equates to our self-worth as women. I have heard that some people have said, "Ay, runner up ka lang," meaning there's something kulang. There's something about you as a woman, not about like your performance. The way that they word it talks about us as women. And for me, I've always found that to be truthfully so shallow when you think about how grand everything at work is when you join a pageant. It is not just about your pasarela, your makeup, your hair. It is about your substance, your advocacy, what you have to bring to the table, being a spokesperson for an organization that goes above and beyond for the community. And I truthfully, I don't know if I can speak for Rain, but I think that I can. We are truthfully so happy just to be a part of the top 4. And I really do believe that I saw you do that. I really do believe that, our purpose transcends that of just being on the pageant stage.
Right.
We, as she said earlier, we have a voice. We are able to amplify issues, and especially in, settings like these, we're able to call for change. We're able to show people that we can break stereotypes, that we can challenge these sort of boundaries that people try to kind of encapsulate women into. So, I would say, just kind of assuming that in a competition, we're kind of pitting women against each other. One is better than the other, which, we are looking for the representative of our country. So we have to pick someone who is, kind of best fitted for that, who is the most ready. But I don't think that speaks to our capabilities as women, for sure.
Yeah, I also just want to add to that, because it's funny how you can see a beauty queen and they're in a gown and they look really good, but then you don't know they only have 2 hours of sleep, or they've been running just to try to get to the venue on time, or they're dressed, they can't even breathe.
It's a superpower.
Yeah, or their feet are hurting and bruises and even cuts, really. And just to stand there, just to look good, it takes so much time. And sometimes our makeup are on the night before already, so it's really a lot to take in. And I'm just really glad that we have been we're still here,
Yeah,
and
to
we're
put
now.
yourself out there, be judged, be criticized for everyone, and still come out strong with the sisterhood. I mean, that in and of itself is truly beautiful.
Exactly. I agree with that.
Anything to add, Anna?
I would
Okay, go.
definitely add that it's not only about winning the crown.
Mhm.
Since it's my second time joining, I really realized that even if you don't have a crown, you have accomplished so much.
Yeah.
And that's why I enjoyed the second time around so much more, because I know that getting to know the girls, I had so much fun doing that, and getting more involved with my advocacy, reaching out to more people. And I know that in the end of the day, there are only two girls who are representing the country, and it doesn't matter who those girls are at the end, because for me it was all about my journey and all about showing kindness to one another no matter what happens, because you never know if you're the chosen one or not. But if you know that you come towards people with kindness, then you know that no matter at the end of the day, you can still look into the mirror and say, I truly and authentically was myself. And I think if we all inspire not only ourselves, but also everyone who's watching with being ourselves and being truly who we are, then I think we can have a better environment, not only for us, but for everyone.
Yeah.
Fine.
Well, in my case, I really want to, well, for people to stop thinking that we beauty queens are like artificial. Like everything that we do is fake just because we are on the camera.
Yeah.
Just because there's a lot of people that are looking into us. That are, because we are always presented to the eye of the public. But you know what? Because I started my advocacy when I was like 17 years old po. So I've been participating in Teen Goals organization. It's an organization that helps the less fortunate children. And I never even thought na it's really important when it comes to joining a beauty pageant. So I didn't have the idea of that before. So I'm just so happy because in a beauty pageant, you are given the power to raise the voices of these people and of course help these women or us binibinis to really showcase who we are as a person. I mean, our authenticity.
Right.
And that also we can use our vulnerability as a power to inspire so many people. And I feel so sad whenever other people are thinking na, oh, fake yan, fake sila, we are not true, just because they think na, we always look presentable and they think kasi a lot of people are always thinking na, yung advocacy na ginagawa natin, it's only for our own benefit, just because we are beauty queens. But you know what? Everything that we do in life, it's not only for us, but it's for the common good. It's because we have a purpose in this life, and it's because we are a women of substance. And the only, goal that we want for all of us to be united, to be, more like prosperous and progressive, is to really help one another, to support one another. And that's what I want for other people who continue to criticize us beauty queens that we are not true or we are not authentic. So I hope that will stop today. Sana talaga. Well, we are here. We were crowned as your Binibining Pilipinas queens because this is also the message that we want to relate to a lot of people. So yun lang naman po as for me. So I hope that I have inspired so many people today, and of course my Binibini sisters then.
Yeah, as you guys can see, like when I ask you guys questions, you are all very honest and
Yes.
authentic.
I would also like to add to that, because
Yeah.
especially with the bashing and the harassment, so many people are commenting you. So many people have their opinions. And it's really important to listen to what you want.
Right.
Because so many people have different opinions about yourself. They want you to change something, to enhance something. But in the end of the day, you really have to think about what you want.
Right.
Because so many people will tell you to do this, to change that about yourself. But in the end of the day, you have to look towards yourself in the mirror and be like, that's really me. That's not something that someone else wants me to be. So really listen to what you want, and especially to all the young girls and young boys who are watching, be true to yourself, and please don't let other people's opinion of you degrade yourself.
Ganda. So we're actually unfortunately down to our last question. And actually when I do these entertainment interviews, my last question I usually call it the beauty queen question.
Oh,
Really?
This is literally the beauty queen question.
Pressure.
So for everyone, what's your advice to women who want to give it a shot in the pageant scene? Let's start with Rain ulit.
Okay.
Okay. My advice is that listen to the people around you. Why I didn't really want to go join a pageant
Right.
in the first place because I didn't know the depth of it. But at first, I did hear all of the messages and stories around of women, saying that, oh gosh, there's so much stereotypes. I can't be that beautiful because I'm not shaped or my color is not that good or my texture of my face is not as smooth. But then there are much, much more like with politics or even what the children need out there. Definitely for my advocacy, those children who have been domestically abused. And I've visited the charities like Bukid Kabataan and I've witnessed how they share a phone just to connect to the world. And for those messages around the people, you have a chance to give it a shot. And I feel like these four ladies did, like, listen to all of those sayings and then really, walk with it and project with it and get the crown for it. And I feel like doing that will really change your life. As like Ate Anna said earlier, not just there to win, really. There's a question in my ice cream box of Q&A training. Like, what would you do, or are you ready to not win the crown? And of course, it's something that you should always think about because win or lose, every platform, you will always have that chance of, falling back to where you are.
Right.
But it's really up to you to give it a shot. And I feel like giving it a shot was always worth it because the children on the TV watching, wherever, you never know, maybe they're just trying to borrow or looking from a window to watch. It's something that you have to maximize and really like take that shot because you're young and you have to live your life to the fullest.
Awesome. How about you, Katrina?
For me, definitely tied in with my final question and answer. Kind of really staying rooted in who you are as a person. I have always really believed that authenticity is kind of the key that opens up so many doors of possibility. It might not always be exactly what you had in mind, but God has a really funny way of bringing to your door exactly what is meant for you. And I think especially with what Anna said earlier, we are kind of projected on social media, and there is a lot of criticism. There are a lot of opinions, bashing. There are some positive comments here and there, but you see people really nitpick at each one of the girls, from stretch marks to having darker colored elbows and knees, and just little textures, pores, whatever. They're very, very critical. And if you aren't, I guess, secure in who you are as a person, that can really eat at you. I mean, even from my perspective, I would say that I'm quite secure in who I am as a person, but reading comments like that can keep you up at night.
Sure, yeah.
That can make you think, am I not worth it? Do I not deserve to be on this platform and want to be a representative of our country? Am I not good enough? Am I not, I guess, the best version of myself? Should I not be here? It definitely can eat at you. It can definitely throw your mind for a loop, for sure. I think definitely if you're able to kind of find your purpose and really believe in that, believe in who you are as a person, believe in your self-worth, that is really the key that you need in order to project yourself on stage in front of that many people. To walk out of the competition still feeling secure, still feeling proud, and believing that your purpose extends beyond the confines of a stage. That is something that I think is really deeply rooted in believing in yourself and who you are, for sure.
Great. How about you, Anna?
it is actually going in the same direction. It's really about finding yourself. Since this is my second time joining, I was really lost last year. I didn't know what to do because, it's so hard to find job and to sustain yourself. And for me to really find back my purpose, and it actually took me a while to get back to my purpose. It was actually when my mom came back to me So when you have your purpose and when you really feel true about yourself, and when you know that no matter what you do, at the end of the day, if you're really authentic, it's really yourself that you're portraying out there, no matter what other people are saying, if they don't like it or not. If you love it and if you're passionate about something, that's really what inspires me to go on every single day. And I think that if someone out there who's trying to be the next beauty queen or the next Binibining Pilipinas queen, I think you just have to be honest about yourself and what you want in your life. And if you know that for yourself, you're a Filipina, or you can be whatever you want to be, but it is up to us as a society to accept you. And so no matter what everyone is saying, just stay true to yourself and have your support system. Because I really try to connect with my family this time, especially the support that I gained from Bataan and also from my family in Germany. So I'm really happy because you always have to surround yourself with people that have a good influence into your life.
People that. And finally, Miss
And
Bini-
finally, well, I'd say that these girls should believe in themselves. Because I used to be criticized because of my skin color.
Sure.
Well, everyone knows that. And of course, of how, of how the way I communicate to other people, because I grew up introvert. And it's really hard for me to start a conversation to express my thoughts and emotion towards other people. And a lot of people criticize me because of that. They told me that I'm not beautiful and that I am not smart enough to be in a beauty pageant. But you know what? You know what I did? I believed in myself and worked really hard just to get here. And you know what? Because if you believe in yourself and you really, practice every single day and with, conviction in everything that you do, nothing will ever go wrong. And I want to inspire a lot of women out there who wants to try and of course to immerse themselves in beauty pageant because nothing is really impossible. You can be who you are. If you want to be a beauty queen, you can be a beauty queen. And if ever a lot of people will tell you that you are not fit in this kind of industry, don't listen to them. You know what? I always say this to, even to my younger siblings and even to other kids out there that we should stop living in the shadow of other people's judgment and opinions towards us. Because it's really important to make our own decision and choices in life because it is us who lead our own lives. And if we continue to do that, then we are making a difference not only sa sarili natin, but as well as sa buhay ng ibang tao na nakapaligid sa atin. And yeah, that's what I want for them to really instill in their minds because you are capable. You just remember that you are capable and just don't ever live sa kung ano man sasabihin ng ibang tao sa'yo. And it doesn't matter if who you are. I mean, like your background, your race, or, the nationality and even the skin colors, everything that a lot of people are throwing negatively towards you. It doesn't really matter. What matters is that you focus on your own, you believe in yourself, and of course, trust the process because God is behind you.
Yeah.
He is really navigating the path towards the success.
So sabi na ni Angelica,
Yeah.
capable ka.
Capable ka, of
Yeah.
course.
And that's the perfect way to end our interview today. Thank you so much, ladies, for being here with us.
Thank you.
Angelica,
Having
Anna,
us.
Katrina, and Rain.
So nice to talk to you.
Yes. So, ayun, for everybody, if you have any suggestions or comments, please hit us up on our socials. Thank you so much for watching today's episode of Rappler Talk Entertainment. I'm Marguerite De Leon. Thanks again.
Thank you.